Hello and welcome to my second attempt at one of these videos. Hopefully this one will be a bit cleaner than the last, and today we're looking at Raeth-Marid. I'm going to start off with what he looked like when he was done. Colour scheme for this was chosen by my 3-year-old daughter. And I asked her what colour he should be. She said pink and purple, and I was very keen to add some kind of brightness to these models and take that opportunity. First thing you're going to see is him built and undercoated. So building was okay. A few little issues. Pinned the torso and the two arms, dimple of the head, and a bit of green stuff around all those areas to just fill in some of the gaps, but not too bad. He's based using some cork bark and then some stone and grit, just stuck in to try and add some variety of texture. So on the first day, these are the paints that I used, and actually the same on the second day too. So you've got pale skin, flat black, sunset purple, and then brain eater azure. So first day was about doing the skin, so that is the brain eater azure with some flat black, and then highlighted up through the brain eater, and the brain eater then mixed with pale skin, and then gradually kind of to a place where in a very few spots, using the pale skin on its own for some very bright edge highlights kind of up on his head and the very top of his arms, and then washing over with the brain eater azure again to kind of smooth those out. The scales at this point are then painted with the sunset purple mixed with some of the flat black, to give some real good depth, and try to get that some kind of around the edges and down at the bottom. The second day was 3.5 hours of painting scales, an interesting experience. So the sunset purple mixed with pale skin, just gradually adding more and more and more, to kind of where I wanted it to be brighter and brighter and brighter, trying to pick out where the light would be catching it, and a few places kind of bending that a little bit just to add some variety. In a couple of spots at this point I actually was using some of the pale skin in its kind of pure form, and actually went back in a few days later and I did a couple of spots of white just to give some real kind of shine, to try and make those scales look kind of shiny. Next day was a few bits, starting with the cloth, which is the colours that you're seeing in front of you. So start with a mix of the black and the darkest green, so the Ardennes green, up through the spring green, which is kind of my mid-tone, and then using the autumn green to catch the highlights. Following on from that was the copper, which is Vallejo copper, scale certified pure copper, some brass, some agrax, and then some of the GW kind of tarnishing material, some of the oxide in there too, in various different ways, trying to create some variety in the co-tones, especially with the agrax, adding that to give some more shadow in some places. I did the swords too, which is black, and then navy blue, and then Caribbean blue, and then the Arctic blue. So just starting with a base of the navy, black, and then the navy, and then got to gradually adding the highlights. And again, these actually got some more edge highlighting later on towards some later days. And then I did the gemstones, and that is the colours that you're seeing in front of you. So starting with a black base, adding the violet, gradually adding the brain eater azure around the kind of the bottom of that to give that shine, and then some little white spots, and then using Druki Violet wash to go over and to help blend all of those colours back together. This is then the kind of final day when I spent quite a lot of time. Most of the time here is spent on the base. It's very difficult to describe exactly how I painted the base because intentionally I do it in quite a haphazard approach, but here's some colours that we used in there. So it's mixes of greys and browns, and then some of the GW dry paints to add a bit more texture in there too. So it's just about adding those in various spots, painting over them, highlighting them, washing it back down with some Nuln Oil and some agrax, and then adding some clumping foliage and some plants and some bit of static grass. It's just about trying to create a haphazard random thing, because that's how ground looks. So here he is again, spinning around, all done. The one thing I haven't talked about yet is the eye. So the eye is kind of sunk in now. It's difficult to tell exactly where his eye's supposed to be because there are some various creases in there, but I've gone Caribbean blue mixed with some white to kind of give some highlight, and then a black pupil with a kind of black spot on it. And here he is having spin around. The thing I haven't talked about is the leather. That's P3 paints all the way through. I was doing that gradually. If you notice on some of the videos, it kind of gradually added up, but it's about, again, like some other things, it's about adding some variety of texture and a slightly random approach. It'd be difficult to describe exactly what I did, but it's just about building up the colour and then washing back down, I think, is the key with leather, to create some texture and depth to it, all the way down to some blacks in some places for some of the shadowed areas. So there he is. I hope that was good. I hope you enjoyed that and added some interest. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.